Hi, my name is Belinda. I am winemaker and co-owner of The Cutting Wines, and we are situated on Nadgerry country. So I am, you can tell by my accent, originally South African. I grew up on the outskirts of Cape Town and I worked and studied in South Africa as a winemaker. My original field of study was actually food technology, and I diverted to winemaking in the early 2000s. I met my now husband, Daniel, who is a viticulturist and manages the cutting and runs the property with me in California. We were both doing a vintage internship in Sonoma, and eventually I moved over in 2010. I relocated to Australia. The cutting started out as a side project with my father-in-law, who was the original grape grower. We started out small and every year we grew. So the name The Cutting is not from vine cuttings, it's actually Stonewell Road. The road that we located on is a hill that was cut through to build the road, and when you drive down Stonewell Road you actually see the exposed cut, which exposes our soil profile of our vineyard. I studied food technology in Cape Town, and wine was never really on my radar. My mother is from the Cape Wine region, the Cape Winelands, so she grew up in the Boerland. But my family worked as labourers in the vineyards, and so wine was never really on my career path. I chose food technology. I was always interested in science and chemistry. And once I qualified as a food technologist, my very first job was actually at a winery in a lab, so doing chemical analysis on wines. And I actually met my very first mentor, a winemaker who would later move to California, and he then afforded me an opportunity to do a vintage in California, which is where I met Daniel. Ended up staying there for 9 months, phoned my employer, say, I'm actually not going to come back. I want to be a winemaker. This is the sector I would love to be in. And then from there I travelled. I went directly from California to New Zealand, did another vintage there, met some fantastic people, and then had the opportunity in a large wine company in South Africa, and I travelled while I was there, did a few vintages in Portugal, France. Everywhere you go, you will be exposed to different winemakers, and everyone's got a different style. So the more mentors you have, the more you learn about yourself and the style of wine that you want to make, because wine at the end of the day has your personal stamp on there. There's no recipe to making wine, so it is fantastic when you can identify your own style. For me, the passion in winemaking comes from when I was handed that first glass of Chardonnay. I was just fascinated by the whole process of winemaking, turning that humble grape into something that can bring so much joy to people, that can transport you to, really you can have a glass of Grenache from Spain and you can be transported to that region. And it's also about the love of nature, the love of science and the love of art, really, because you've got to be quite creative when you're making wine, and it really keeps me coming back for more and keeps that passion alive. Social media has been quite the learning curve for me. I think you've got to engage your audience, you've got to really show them your personality. So by doing videos during vintage, people are really interested. Oh, I'm getting some good shots here actually. Our cellar door will be open all weekend, so if you'd like to come and have a taste of The Cutting Shiraz, please pay us a visit. We hope to see you soon. Cheers. What I've found with our social media, if we do share the entire process, we often have visitors coming from interstate saying, oh, I saw this on your social media. If they come to visit us during vintage, I'll say, grab a bucket, let's crush together, or let's do a plunge down. And people really love that sensory and physical side of winemaking. I would say for anyone, a female especially, looking at entering the wine sector, you wouldn't find a better career option than working in wine. It's exciting, it's evolving. I feel like I'm an eternal student of wine. When I entered the sector 15 years ago, it was really male dominated. I think females are actually taking their rightful place in the wine sector, and it's about finding that gender balance, and I think people are realizing more and more Females make fantastic winemakers, fantastic viticulturists. There's amazing role models within, especially the Australian wine sector, and all over the world, some of the best winemakers are females. So 3 words as I describe the wine industry, I'd say all-consuming, it's a way of life. Creative, you evolving, no 2 vintages are the same. And I'd say challenging, because you have to adapt and work with what nature's given you.